sparks critical thinking and literacy skills in today's digitally connected students. This interactive session is committed to providing you with practical insights to promote a passion for reading and empower your students to confidently navigate the constantly changing information landscape. This is Mr. Jeff Joseph Emalicante, your host for today. Now, we will be formally welcomed by the Director of Libraries and American Corner Librarian of the De La Salle University Libraries, Ms. Marian Eclevia. Let us give her a heart reaction.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all of our participants, our wonderful educators and teachers joining us this afternoon for our online interactive learning session titled How to Develop 21st Century Readers. Today's session is not just about discussing the challenges of non-readers and slow readers among our students. It's about embarking on collective mission to equip reading teachers, both in English and Filipino, with the tools they need to make a real difference. We're here to learn on how we can tweak our strategies, refine teaching methods, and to uplift the teaching skills, not just of today's heroes, but also those who will shape our future. From understanding the intricate psychology of teaching reading to sharing techniques on how and when to steal those critical reading skills, we have prepared an exciting interactive learning session for you today. I would like to express my profound appreciation to our partners for this afternoon session. First, of course, to our STEAM resource person, Dr. Sterling Plata, who have graciously accepted our invitation to share her valuable knowledge and expertise on reading. Okay? Also to our participants, our teachers from various schools in different locations in the Philippines who have participated this afternoon and contributed to the success of this webinar. Thank you for being part of this heartfelt quest to nurture a generation of confident and passionate readers. May this interactive learning session be both intellectually stimulating and personally enriching for all of us. So, without further ado, let's begin. Let's dive in and make magic happen together as we collaborate in this online session. Thank you very much and welcome. Animo Lasal.
Thank you very much, Ms. Marian. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and participants, this is our webinar on developing 21st century readers. Again, I am Mr. Jeff Joseph Emalicante, and it is an honor to appear before you today as we embark on a journey to explore strategies for cultivating 21st century readers. In a world dominated by technology, nurturing reading habits is more crucial than ever. We are delighted to have a distinguished speaker with us, someone who has dedicated her career to literacy and education. But before we dive into the insights that she will share, let me provide you all clear and concise rules to ensure the smooth flow of our virtual event. First, we wish to ask you to keep your microphones on mute at all times possible to avoid distraction. Second, use respectful language, both written and oral, and be mindful of others' opinions during discussion. Furthermore, choose a quiet and distraction-free environment for participation so you may be able to focus on the webinar content. Then provide constructive feedback after the webinar to help us improve our future sessions. Finally, actively participate in polls, discussions, and interactive elements to enhance the learning experience. After the presentation, we will open the floor for your questions, comments, clarifications, and suggestions if there's suggestion. This is an opportunity for all of us to engage with the topic, also share your insights, and seek further clarification on the matters. Please feel free to submit your questions through the chat feature or the Q&A feature, and we will address each as much as time permits. A recording of this session will be uploaded to the National Book Week's YouTube channel. Also, the evaluation form will be distributed through the Zoom meeting chat box upon the conclusion of the learning session, and your prompt completion is required by 5 p.m. Please make sure to complete it by 5 p.m. because without the form, we won't be able to provide you a certificate, right? Let us make the most out of this interactive session to enrich our understanding of how we can effectively nurture our 21st century readers. Now, allow me to introduce our research guest for this webinar. Our speaker for today has a specialist certificate in language testing and assessment from the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization Regional Language Center Singapore, and a certificate from Oxford University Professional Development Academy. She makes a difference in Philippine education as a curriculum reform consultant, teacher trainer, researcher, teacher, and module and textbook writer. From 2021 to 2022, she was a deputy specialist on program for International Student Assessment, or PISA, reading literacy as a trainer and project lead on developing PISA-like items for students and teachers. Her mission this year is to launch Sa Pagbasa, May Pag-asa, or Read to Progress movement, and her mission is also to train, check this out, 10,000 reading literacy champions. Wow, it's so many. Currently, she is an associate professor at the Department of English and Applied Linguistics at the De La Salle University, Manila. Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to present our distinguished speaker for this webinar. Please join me in extending our virtual applause to express our appreciation to Dr. Sterling Miranda Plata.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Doc.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you to the organizers. And there, all right. So let me start sharing my screen. So let's get started. So can you type in the chat, what was your last search online? And what was your purpose? Is it because you want to learn more about it? Is it because of your work? Is it because you want, is it for school? Or is it because you want to participate in an ongoing discussion on a particular topic? May I see in the chat? Hi, Fred from Indonesia. Kumusta? And my friends from the libraries. Can you type in the chat? Luggage, ha? Okay. I hope to see you in Manila. Fred, how about the others? What was your last search online? Mine was about the weather. Yeah, how to open a website, fonts for Christmas, Cebu November results. Massage, Janessa, we all need a massage. Preschool songs. Corn soup, information literacy. All right, thank you for participating. No, I really appreciate it. So the reason why I asked you for the last search online is because in the real world, no, we read because we have a purpose. So today I'm going to talk about developing 21st century leaders with the hashtag no Filipino student left behind, which is probably the last for the year, no, on related to Read to Progress movement. All right, so I'll continue with this parable of the stones. There's this traveler in the desert who heard the voice saying that if you gather pebbles, you will be both happy and sad. So he gathered a few and then put them in his pockets. And then the next day, the pebbles turned into diamonds and precious stones. So I was happy to see that the pebbles turned into precious stones, and sad because he didn't get enough. So this parable is an invitation to you to really get as much as you can, so that you'll be happy, at the end of this webinar, that you don't just look forward to the certificate, but also look forward to getting some information and strategies and inspiration as you teach, or if you're a librarian, as you connect and support reading literacy in your school. So there are three outcomes. Explain the shifts in reading literacy because of technology, that you will choose a research insight and turn this into a teaching strategy and choose strategies as a reading literacy champion. So my invitation to you is, number one, that you will, I hope that you will be inspired to become a literacy champion in your own school or in your own community, whether you are a librarian or a teacher. The second one is for you to experiment, conduct action research, and observe if these strategies work, because research is contextual. So hopefully we will gather enough evidence to really claim that we are developing 21st century readers. So the first topic is about shifts in reading literacy because of technology. Changes in the nature of reading literacy is the evolving technologies have rapidly changed the ways in which people read and exchange information, both at home and in the workplace. Before, the principal or the coordinator would send a printed memo, no, but now everything is in email, sometimes in chat, sometimes in Viber. One funny example I can think of was when I was training teachers. On text structure, I asked about what is the structure of a breakup letter, and there was a big question mark on their faces, and I realized, Miss, no, hindi na kami nagbe-break up letter, nag-ghosting na lang daw, or nagte-text na lang, no? It's not about you, it's about me, break na tayo. So, we need to acknowledge the fact that reading has changed, no, because of technology. And so we need to look at how we are, or the type of text, no, that we give to our students as reading for assessment. Let me summarize according to the literature. The shifts in reading because of technology. One is about the traditional reading, the definition of reading from reading literacy. I'm going to give you a definition later on. So traditional reading is being able to comprehend, no? But with literacy, it requires other, like interacting, engaging with the text. There is a shift from read and answer to, in reality, like I ask you, no, you search for something, you read something because there is a purpose. And so whenever we give reading tasks to our students, we need to tell them or ask them, what is your purpose for reading them? It's also, there is a shift from printed to digital text. So I don't know if you still read printed books. I noticed that I read more when I read through my tablet, from single text to multiple text. Like if you're, like Fred was looking for a luggage and Cindy was looking for nursery rhymes, I'm sure you didn't just stop on a website. You look for other references. From static, no, before it was just printed with bantay, no, picture bantay, or text, and now it's multimodal. There are texts with a lot of pictures and then links, and then there are videos, there is music. So what is one implication of these shifts in literacy in your schools, such as choice of materials? I hope that this will be interactive. So can you please type in the chat, what is one implication of these shifts in terms of literacy in your school? No, are you, in terms of materials, in terms of assessment and purpose? Can you type Bloom's taxonomy daw? Okay. So what is one implication that reading has changed because of technology? What is one implication in terms of the choice of materials? Mobile learning devices. All right. Thank you, Aika, for that. Yes, they bring their own learning devices. In terms of assessment or reading tasks or purpose of reading, what will be? Is it, okay, class, read and then answer the questions? Fred, yeah, lesser exposure to classical literature. And less usage of printer. Yeah, students will prefer the soft copy of the lecture rather than the hard copy. True. No, so thank you. So there are changes that are happening and hopefully by design. I think that's the invitation, that the changes will be by design, that you will make deliberate decisions to make changes to develop 21st century literature. Teacher chooses preferred literature, yeah. Virtual storytelling, yeah. Joanna, yeah, thank you for that. So there are also changes in the nature, such as because people don't work in factories and robots are taking over, now the jobs require uh, people to adapt to quickly changing context and who can find and learn from diverse sources. For example, uh, those from BPOs now are not just reading, no, they also need to make decisions about, for example, my son now works in a BPO for a medical, on medical collection. And I remember I would hear him sometimes say, let me think and decide and help you. And then he would choose from menus. No? And as teachers also, we need to learn from diverse sources of information because our tasks also change. But what is reading literacy as opposed to reading? Reading traditionally means being able to comprehend, but now reading literacy is an individual's capacity to understand. So to understand means to get the main idea, get details, to be able to use that information to evaluate. Now I'm going to share examples of why we need more than ever to learn how to evaluate the materials and information given to us. The funny story about the what you call this, Rimowa, no, Rimowa. Somebody sent me a message that in Lazada, Rimowa is now on sale about 1,000 to 200. But in reality, it's maybe €1,000 or $1,000. No? So now we really need to. That's I think an example you can relate to. That we need to really evaluate the information that we get, reflect and engage with text. Like, do we agree with it? Ano ba to? Budol ba ito, no? And develop also our knowledge and potential. I during the pandemic, I became a mindfulness advocate, and so that researching and studying more about it helped me to develop my knowledge and eventually participate in society by giving more talks, no, on mindfulness. So literacy in the 21st century is about um, extracting and processing. So teachers would give the materials and process it and read it. But now in the 21st century, it's about constructing and validating knowledge. Some teachers say that parang mas magaling pa daw yung mga estudyante nila, no? Because the students, sometimes they know more about a particular topic, and so they validate what you are talking about. And I hope you do the same, no? You validate what I'm talking about when you apply them in your own classes. More than ever, we need to develop 21st century readers because this Stanford research found that high school students are unprepared to judge the credibility of information on the internet because of fake news, etc. No, so are unprepared. In this current survey, 51% of Filipinos, what is this? Find it difficult to spot fake news on media, according to social weather station, no? By education, spotting fake news is more difficult among non-elementary graduates, 59%, followed by elementary graduates, 58%, junior high school graduates, 48%, and 43%. So here we know that also depending on, but even college graduates find it difficult to spot fake news. This article by Mike Tan talking about um, in the post-truth society. No, what is truth? There was this Time magazine cover saying the truth is dead. Um, so what is post-truth? No, it's a situation where objective facts are less influential than appeals to emotion. Social media has facilitated this. I don't know if you agree. Social media has facilitated the spread of false news, but underlying this problem is the human predisposition to lie and almost want to be lied to. Lied to. No, psychologists have found that we see what we want to see. No, that ay binili ko na tong iPhone na to. Hindi ako nabudol dito. Yeah, no? So psychology found that we see what we want to see and hear what we want to hear. A post-truth society builds on this aspect of human psychology. Can you type in the chat if you agree and two if you disagree? No? So maganda ba yung buhok ko? Magsinungaling ka na lang, mataba ba ako? 'Di ba? Ganun yung sa asawa mo, taba ba ako? Dapat sabi mo hindi. 'Di ba? Yan. So that's the era that we have now. No, we are dealing with fake news and people do not have the skill no to distinguish real news from fake news. We are also in the post-truth era, no, where people use that to persuade us. So for example, sabi ng TikTok influencer, eto buy this morning by order in Shopee came, no, 3 kinds of lipstick from one brand and syempre nabudol ako, 'di ba? Na-influence ako. Ito na yung post-truth era na talagang para naniniwala na tayo kung ano man yung sinasabi nila na pampaganda. So post-truth is an adjective relating to or denoting circumstances in which objective facts are less influential, no, in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion and personal belief. In this era, it's easy to cherry-pick data or come to whatever conclusion you desire. This one works, it doesn't work, no, and appeal to emotion, no, that this particular candidate, this particular product, this is a miracle, no? Sometimes there are testimonials like that. So that's part of the post-truth era. There's also there are also threats to safety, particularly for young people. Children whose lives are mediated by technology have a powerful means to access a constant stream of information. And I read somewhere that because children are using the phone or tablet, unlike before when people would watch TV together, no, the parents are not there to guide children. And so they engage in instant interactions and communicate with people from the other side of the globe. And this potential to access, engage, and learn online through networks with others comes with risks, such as cyberbullying, misinformation, child online sexual exploitation, and grooming. I searched about grooming earlier, and grooming is this. Now, there's one predator who would say that I'm a friend, and then will become like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and leading to sexual exploitation. So that is grooming. And then extremism. Some groups will invite young people to participate in webinars or gatherings and then to sell that idea on extremism. So those three, the explosion of fake news and misinformation in the post-truth era and the threats to safety. So that's why it's important that we go back to reading literacy and really understand that reading now is different. No, that's why our students need to really evaluate, to really reflect, nabubutol ba ako nito? Niloloko ba ako nito? All right. Reading is also critical because these are the skills that will have that are needed in the future world of work. McKinsey and Company is a think tank. Some of the conglomerates in the Philippines pay them, no, to tell them what's going on in the world. In this, they found that these are the skills that matter in the future world of work, such as importance of understanding biases. If this article says this, another one says this, they need to find out the biases. They also need to seek relevant information. They need to develop the ability to ask the right questions, the ability to synthesize, the ability to translate knowledge to different contexts. So, for example, you're a librarian now, so how are you going to translate it to your context? And adopting a different perspective and ability to learn. So these are just some, no, of the skills that are all related to reading literacy and not just reading comprehension. So this ebook, 21st Century Readers, based on the OECD study, just came out. It's free. And in this research that they conducted, OECD is also the one who made the PISA. Reading the digital world requires continuously evaluating the quality and validity of different sources. So one says that this one is good for your health. This one says no. This one is selling. Navigating through ambiguity. Sometimes you're researching something and then you're overwhelmed. What do you do? Distinguishing facts and opinions and then constructing your own knowledge. For example, as a teacher for 2024, what are the things that you want to happen in your life? And so you read more, you study more, and then you make a decision about your life and your career. But it takes a village. So, and as a literacy champion, my invitation to you is to collaborate with other people. And this is a good way of collaborating the National Development Book Authority, and then the libraries, the LSU libraries, and then English teachers, and then the department. I know people from DepEd Binyan, Hi Erwin, and teachers like us, no, and literacy champions like us. So literacy traced back to poverty and other multiple interacting barriers to realizing children's full potential. Therefore, so I don't know if you noticed, so those who lack literacy, they were not able to really get good jobs. And so therefore, enhancing basic functional and digital literacy lies in long-term poverty reduction, including improving children's nutrition. The DepEd should work hand in hand with stakeholders like us in a whole society approach to improve Filipinos' literacy, numeracy, and digital competencies. But why, aside from developing let me just check the time, developing our full potential, can you please type in the chat how much time I have? I should stop talking by. So why do we need literacy? Because we need it for a more peaceful and just, sustainable societies. We need to put people at the center of the responsibility to achieve sustainable development for our community. So that's the purpose of literacy and education, so that we will have a more sustainable, peaceful, and just societies on a healthy planet. I should stop talking, perhaps 2:30. Thanks, Jeff. All right. So what are the insights from research? So the first part is about the changing demands, that the reading now has changed, and hopefully you were able to get something from that part and really make a deliberate decision to design how you teach reading literacy. How about insights from research? The psychology of reading is about active view of reading, and I want you don't have to read everything, but just this circle, you will see the importance of motivation and engagement. In the psychology of reading, I will not read if I'm not motivated. I will not engage. I remember I had a traumatic experience in math, and so I will not, no, during the let exam, I took it only a few years because I was required to take it. And so I did not even, no, AAA na lang. So that's the role in the psychology of reading, the role of active reading, and it starts with motivation. Because I'm motivated, I will engage, right? So just that thought. And so the motivational predictors of struggling readers, the findings highlight the importance of including motivational variables in understanding sources of individual differences. Why are there struggling readers? It's because of the motivational variables. What are these variables? So one is self-efficacy, meaning I can. No, my example, I did not even read the math questions because I did not have self-efficacy because of that traumatic experience in third grade. No, so because I didn't have self-efficacy means that I believe I can. No, I have not tried driving again because um, of another experience learning how to drive, and I felt I failed. And so think of that term, no? So students who have stronger self-efficacy beliefs regarding reading comprehension, meaning I know I can understand, use more effective reading strategies. Research for self-efficacy is defined as one's perceived capabilities of learning. It is not surprising that many struggling readers have lost self-efficacy. They believe that they lack the ability to succeed, and consequently, they tend to avoid academics and give up quickly when difficulties arise. So the term is disengagement. How to develop? All right. So according to this research by Wenzel and Mier, they're be found to be beneficial for our having students pursue proximal and specific learning goals. So, for example, very specific, I will just read the title, be able to read the title. Exposing children to social models, providing students with performance and attributable feedback. Good job. Good job, Juan. You were able to read the title. Good job, Juan. You were able to read the headings. No, so focusing on performance. So not like you're smart, you are a good reader, you are a smart student. Teaching students to use learning strategies. If you cannot understand the whole text or you feel bored, look at the headings. Having learners verbalize strategies while they apply them. So, for example, I will go back to what I have read. No, I don't have to understand everything when I read. Making students rewards contingent on their learning progress, like not comparing them with other students, and having students self-monitor. When I conducted a study on portfolio assessment and students evaluating their performance, even the slowest or the students lagging behind were able to see their progress. And so my conclusion there is that by helping students to monitor, to assess themselves, and focus on strengths as well, even if they are lagging behind, it helps them to develop their self-efficacy. Research number 5, the importance of learning goals. In this study, there are 3 learning goals. One learning goal is that students use effective strategies. My learning goal is to be able to understand the main idea, and so that's my goal. And so if they set that achievement learning goal, they use more strategies and are more creative in performing the task. But there are students who have performance approach goals, meaning gusto ko sikat ako, no? Gusto ko mas magaling ako sa iba. Competition. And some students have performance avoidance. No, they tend to avoid activities that demonstrate their disability, preferring to perform tasks within their proficiency. So that means if you have students like this, then don't you can start no from their level. Like I had advanced statistics a few years ago, but my teacher started with a very elementary, very basic because I told him, no, I had meron na talaga akong fixed mindset about math. Um, and so there, no? So with this kind performance, students prioritize public recognition. For some students, they want competition. For some students, yun nga, give them text to their level and then move slowly. This article, our research, I can give you access to this material. Developing Filipino ESL learners reading performance to effort trace, and we found that showed a significant positive relationship between the mindset of students when they have a growth mindset and the reading performance. It implies that when students have a growth mindset, they will engage. They will most likely have increased reading performance. Conversely, students with a fixed mindset will most likely to have impaired reading performance. Like myself, I would disengage. Now, whenever I would feel that I didn't have the capacity to understand. Another research is that we lag behind in PISA. We already know that, but not a lot of educators know that in that result, PISA report, 31% of students hold a growth plan, only 31%, and 63% is the average. So that means we have 69% of students who are struggling, disengaging in our class. And 72% worry about what others think of them, no? Ayoko mapahiya. No, ayoko mapahiya. 72%. So there's also this research that early literacy, no, is a predictor of future academic achievement. And for children, it is important that develop digital literacy to be able to thrive, increasing global digital world, being both safe and empowered. So can you type in the chat what is your takeaway, from research on the psychology of reading, the power of self-efficacy, the power of goals, and mindset. Can you type in the chat what is your takeaway from research on self-efficacy, motivation, science of reading, setting goals, and mindset? Okay. While you are typing, I will be sharing to me, based on my readings, and hopefully I can write a paper. I hope I can collaborate with you on a research project on this. What are the characteristics of 21st century readers? So 21st century readers are motivated to read offline and online because they have a real purpose. They want to grow, they want to develop their full potential. 21st century readers are engaged in the society. It's not just I want to learn more and accumulate. No, it's not that, because I want to participate. And I am concerned with people and planet and with peace. So I communicate, I engage. They are digital literate, using this literacy for sustainability. They are able to manage. For me, number 4 is important. If you are a 21st century reader, you're able to manage your attention. If you have a research project, you will not spend time on Facebook. Minsan, kinakatok ko yung mga mentees ko sa thesis, parang may time ka mag-Facebook. You need to, even as adults, we need to learn how to manage our attention. We need to manage our time, and we need to manage our well-being. Pag pagod na tayo, off screen, and 21st century readers have a growth mindset. Yes, Melinda, thank you. Students functional when they are motivated. Thank you, Romalyn. And Frederick may be allowed to choose their reading materials. For instance, yes, thank you for that, Fred. And motivation really matters, Rowie. Thank you for that. So, my question, if you have not read this ebook, Imagine a New Social Our Futures Together, there is this challenge, no? That we need to start asking ourselves, what should we continue doing? What should we abandon, and what needs to be creatively invented as afresh? So going back to the definition of the characteristics of 21st century, what are the things we can do as teachers to help motivate them? No, how can we help them engage in society? How can they teach? How can we model, no, the ability to manage our attention, our time, our well-being, and help them to develop a growth mindset? Now, what are the strategies for developing? Right. So the first four will be to learn from PISA, no, 2018. When I was part of the DepEd project for 2 years, no, the teachers developed PISA-like items. I thought the DepEd wanted the students to pass. And then while I was in the project, I realized the rationale, why we need to look at and learn from the reading framework. The reading framework is free. No, this is free. So, one lesson and strategy is to teach students to read with a purpose, no? And the purpose can be personal. You want to buy a luggage, occupational. You want to prepare for a lesson, or educational. You want to grow, like for me, no, more on mindfulness. And public, meaning you want to participate in an ongoing discussion. So I'll talk about that first. So in the real world, there is a scenario, no, there is a situation. For example, PISA questions or tasks are arranged in units. So special attention was placed on this unit so that student would feel engaged. One example that we did for like that project was on stress management. No, stress management. So we focus on that particular theme. And a scenario allows assessing emergent aspects of reading, such as students' ability to search, evaluate, read for comprehension, and integrate a course text. Here, the word is so that they will be, no, and they will feel engaged. Remember, that's our keyword: engagement, motivation. Okay, this is a sample scenario. You are visiting your relatives who raise chickens, and you ask your aunt, how did you learn how to raise chickens? No, so we talk to people and then use lots of resources. And then this is the text. No, it's a forum, no, and then questions. So think about that. No, what are the materials? No, this is a scenario. Number one, choose a scenario, and then choose a real world text, and then ask questions related to the scenario. Another situation. So students were assigned to write a restaurant review. Have students read the restaurant review from the perspectives of multiple personas. A college student, a review from a wealthy business person, a review from a vegetarian, someone with a medical condition, someone with the religious dietary restrictions. You can identify the persona for them or have them think. So there is a situation, there is a real reason for reading, and then lead the conversation about how article satisfies or fails to address the needs of interest of those, right? So what is your takeaway from the first strategy? Please type in the chat. I have 15 minutes. Can you please type in the chat? What's your takeaway? What is one simple strategy that you can do when you go back after this webinar tomorrow? Students, know what students motivate. Yeah, dear. All right. So the first strategy is this: purpose. situation. So how are you going to integrate that tomorrow? Focus on reading with the purpose, situation, theme, a real purpose, personal, occupational, educational, public, in real life context and near to their heart. Thank you, Archimedes. We'll have one more. Can you type to read by focusing on students' interest? Yes. No, by focusing on students' interest. And don't forget purpose and situation. Strategy number 2 is to use authentic reading materials to connect. Rhea, thank you so much. Jacob, thank you so much. And Sir Jeff, thank you so much. Yep. The second strategy is to expose students to digital and multimodal text. I'm not sure if I can open this, but this is a free resource. Can you still see? Okay. So this is free, and this is Freedom Makes a Difference. So multimodal, so it has, okay, it turns like a book, no? All right. And then it has lots of pictures. So it talks about sustainable development goals, and so on. Okay. So I will stop sharing so I can go back to my slide. So that's what I'm saying about using. There are lots of free materials. So that's an example of a multimodal text. Let me go back and share my screen. Yeah. Wait, mali. Sorry now. I'm here. Yeah. Can you still see my screen? Yung learn from PISA number 3. Can you still see? You
Yes,
cannot
po,
see.
Doc.
Okay.
We can see it po.
You can see na? Wait.
Yes po, we saw it earlier po, Doc.
Okay. Let me share again. So the first one is to focus on purpose. Purpose, situation, and then use digital, no, and multimodal text. There are a lot of free materials online. SDG Biggest Lessons provide a lot of readings, and if you search sustainable development goals free lessons, you will be able to find digital and multimodal texts. Ask students to explore single and multiple texts to show different perspectives. This is an example from Resilient Educator. Media production, right? So give students, give different groups specific outlooks. Happy group, sad group, frustrated group in describing an image. Have groups come together to share their descriptions and talk about why they included specific details and left out others. And then, instead of saying, okay, look at the news articles, you look at a photo and then outlook. If you're happy, how are you going to evaluate? If you're sad, if you're frustrated, how are you going to evaluate? And then the students will look at 2 to 3 samples of news articles that cover the same topic but provide different details. And the goal is to help them understand that authoring is a deliberate construction. So I will construct it because I believe that the DepEd is doing okay, that the Philippine education is not problematic, that killing people for like that, no? So this is an example of showing multiple. So allow them, no, to explore the different options. The examples I give my students are different kinds of recipes. Recipe from an Alaska, diba, yung label, recipe from a website, recipe selling a product, and so on. So that is strategy number 3. Ask students to explore multiple texts to show different perspectives. Number 4 is to be mindful of the reading questions for reading. So learn from PISA. PISA has, you don't have to read this. No? I'm just showing you that there are several levels and the highest is this. And based on the PISA project, we noticed that teachers find it difficult to create reading assessment tasks for levels 4, 5, and 6 because here just the keywords multiple inferences, 2 to 3 texts, no? 2 to 3 texts. On level 3, integrate several parts. Level 2, locate one or more pieces of information needing inference. And level 1A is locate one or more the topic is familiar. So this is a simple guide for you to look at the questions you ask. No, are you asking 1B questions? Are you asking level 6 questions? Okay. Number 5 is to motivate through a mission. So this is a study on the PBL, no? And the results of this study support the idea that project-based learning has a positive influence in students' motivation and is able to enhance their cooperation skills as well. So this is a short video on that.
In the U.S., we have a persistent gap in the achievement of kids who live in poverty and kids in wealthy communities.
What's this over here?
Project-based learning is a very powerful tool to connect students with their communities, with real purposes and audiences, and it does appear to be an effective way of improving student achievement.
My name is Annalisa Halverson, and along with Nell Duke, we designed curricula that integrated literacy and social studies using project-based learning.
Project PLACE stands for Project Approach to Literacy and Civic Engagement. We designed 4 big projects. We aligned the units around the literacy standards and social studies standards for 2nd grade. Then we commenced a fairly large study to test the impact in high poverty, low performing school districts. Our study was with 48 different classrooms in 20 elementary schools.
Half of them were assigned to teach the projects that we designed, and half of them were asked to teach the regular social studies curriculum.
Teachers were randomly assigned to do project-based learning or not. These were teachers who did not have prior experience doing project-based learning. They taught 60 lessons, and we tested children at the end of the school year.
We found that students who received project-based learning scored at higher levels in reading and social studies.
So that tells us that a project-based framework can be successful right out of the gate.
So this morning, we are going to go on our field trip to Hawthorne Park. My name's Aaron Phillips. I teach 2nd grade at Grayson Elementary. We are doing the Civics and Government unit of Project PLACE. We started the unit by taking a field trip. Go ahead, guys. We go to a park and kind of just discover the park and look at its strengths and weaknesses. All the kids were engaged, all the kids were interested. That is when they can shine, and you can see a total difference in the learning.
Look. It was very exciting for our kids to feel that they had a voice in what could possibly promote change.
Wow! Right away, the driving purpose to improve the park or other public space is established.
All right, let's start heading towards the bus.
Every lesson, there's a direct connection between what students are doing and that ultimate purpose that they have.
So the ground of the play structure was not safe?
We were writing things that you did not like and you think that you can fix. You could fall down. There's no wood chips and the weed barriers are coming out.
Does anybody have any ideas of something we could do?
We could say to the person who made the park to fix the park.
Our hope was that students would see that they're valuable contributing members to a community and they can make a difference.
I wonder if we could try to persuade people in the government to fix something at the park. We learned how to write a proposal. They got to create posters for the different departments within local government. So what does the sanitation department do to help citizens?
Helps the environment be clean.
There you go.
Children are curious about the world around them. They're curious about issues in their community and what adults do.
Is this what your group did, Kaylee?
All right, so this is an example of project-based learning. And in my experience doing service learning for students, I don't give them long text to read, but based on the problem solution essay that they need to write, they analyze the problems of a particular organization, a non-government organization, and then they read up and write a paper on that. Okay, so the importance of motivation. So bonus strategy is for students who struggle with reading, using growth mindset often means perseverance and practice as they learn strategies to decode new words, reread and appreciate context, and carve out extra time to read even short passages of text. And in our research, we found that students who believe that even if they exert effort, they will not succeed. They have a fixed mindset. And so even if the teachers praise them, it didn't have an effect. But even struggling readers, when they develop a growth mindset, they still persevered because in our experiment, the readings became harder and harder. And so those with a growth mindset, they persisted, they persevered. And so the strategy is, how can we help students develop a growth mindset? Like, how can you help me with math? Because I really keep disengaging. So what my teacher did was to start with a very simple exercise. And that helped slowly, for me to develop a growth mindset until I was able to do a quantitative paper because of that. And so that experience shows an example of starting from the level of students and helping students develop the self-efficacy and the growth mindset to continue. Another bonus strategy is to use SDGs as themes. There are a lot of resources out there. You are hitting several birds at the same time. You help them to become more motivated. You help them to localize the sustainable development goals. You mobilize them. You help them become more literate. You help them to participate in society. Now, if you focus on the SDGs as themes such as no poverty, hunger, etc., because the video showed that students want to participate and they really want, they are, sabi nga nila, woke generation na, no? Okay. So my question to you is, what will you continue doing based on what I have shared with you? What are you going to abandon, and what needs to be creatively invented afresh? So the way forward, join the Read to Progress movement. Although I was not able to achieve 10,000 this year, I need your help. Maybe the libraries and your library, we can collaborate on a webinar again so that we can reach at least 10,000 people, 10,000 champions. The goal of the training is to help them to shift the focus from reading to reading literacy, to create a systematic and balanced reading assessment, to use assessment data for creating a multi-tiered plan for reading, to create can-do statements, comment library. I think this is my favorite. No, I hope we can collaborate on a project and we're going to create can-do statements for reading, and then embed growth mindset in reading programs and focus on literacy leadership. I would like to quote this one, that during the 21st century, public education was essentially aimed at supporting national citizenship and development efforts through the form of compulsory schooling. But today, as we face grave risks to the future of humanity and the living planet itself, we must urgently reinvent education to help us address common challenges. And with the growth mindset, I know that you can and you will. And this is my last slide, I would like to leave you with blessings. May you live a life of ease. May you reimagine new ways of connecting with your students. May you be strong and safe and healthy, and may you rediscover your why so you can champion literacy. Thank you so much for your time. And if you want to thank me, can you type in the chat what is one thing? No, what is one thing that you're going to do later, or tomorrow, or this week to develop 21st century readers? Okay, so what is one thing you will do? What's one thing you will do to develop 21st century readers? So I shared 4 strategies from PISA. I shared reading with the purpose, no, helping students to read with a purpose, multimedia text. And then number 3 will be different perspectives. Now, let me go back to that. Nakalimutan ko na. Yung 4 strategies. Yan, no? Give students purpose for reading. Expose students to digital and multimodal. Provide multiple texts with different perspectives. And then check the reading questions, no? I also showed you like project-based learning on, and then develop your students' mindset by starting with the lowest level until they develop their self-efficacy and sustainable development goals. Yeah. All right. I'll stop sharing. Thank you for your time. I will, maybe Jeff, you can read. Teach about reading framework. Thank you, Althea. Regularly assess progress and adjust interventions. Thank you, Sharel. And Renato, what is your opinion about introducing the catch-up days starting next year? Students from public schools will have remedial classes from those who struggle. Renato, what is my thinking will be 2 things. One is to make it fun, no, by doing DEAR, like Fred said something about drop everything and read. Students will get materials that interest them. And at the same time, for students who are struggling, the problem is that if they are like teenagers and you treat them like beginning reading, then it will not motivate them, no? So again, my answer to that question is make it fun by doing drop everything and read, meaning, and then the second one is for those who are struggling, really focus on motivation, engagement, and self-efficacy. What is it? No, find out what is it. What is the reason why they disengage? What is the reason why they don't have self-efficacy? What is it? What motivates them? And from there, you can design, no, reading programs for them. Yeah, thank you for that question. Look at reading strategies, yes. Create programs that will focus on helping learners develop a growth mindset. Projects, yes, thank you, Irwin. And reflect and strategize to teach reading with a purpose. Thank you. Give more time on the reading program. Joanna, thank you so much. And from the PBL, project-based learning, we learned that we can collaborate with other teachers. This month, I started collaborating with teachers from architecture and realized that we can pala do project together. Thanks, Erwin. Erwin is my high school, not classmate, ba? Okay, back to you, Jeff.
All right. Thank you once again, Dr. Sterling. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. Your engaging presentation not only enriched our knowledge, but also inspired us to approach our work with a renewed sense of purpose, as what you mentioned earlier in the step number 1. And you've got us all inspired, surely, to become reading literacy champions. And who knows, this number, we have 114 participants. Who knows, that number might multiply. So we will have more reading literacy champions after this particular session. Now, let us transition to addressing questions from our attendees. Your questions surely are crucial, and we're here to provide insightful responses and further enhance your understanding of the topic. So please feel free to ask, and we'll engage in a productive discussion. We will address each question as much as time permits. So please send your questions to the Zoom meeting chat box, and I'm going to read it. So you could acquire response from Dr. Sterling. Anyone po who has question? May questions po ba kayo or clarifications?
While they are thinking of their questions, I hope that the libraries and the Philippine Librarians Association, we can work together on a seminar, on a conference, on a convention, on some of the best practices, because I'm sure there are successful projects, and looking forward to that. And also send me an email, sterling.plata@dlsu.edu.ph, if you have a research project that we can work on, or some initiatives and you need my help.
Okay, that will be noted, Doc. Doc, there's a question here from Anonymous. There are a lot of reading programs from DepEd, but as if the reading problem persists, what can be done?
Yes, there are a lot of reading programs, but if we keep doing the same thing and not seeing the results, why do we keep doing it? No, so based on the psychology of reading, we need to address the problem of motivation, engagement, and the lack of self-efficacy. No, and to do that, we need to, for teenagers, for example, we cannot use the basic reading approach because they are adolescents. That's based on the research of my mentee. So again, to address that is to address first psychology of reading, and focus on motivation. No, how can we? Because students are different, children are different. How can we develop their self-efficacy by helping them understand and realize that they are progressing? I mean, compared to others, they're not as good readers, no, but they are progressing. And so by slowly building that self-assessment ability of our students as well, to see their progress.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc. Another question. I think this is a very general question. How can we access online libraries po?
The libraries can answer that.
Okay, perhaps we can ask one of our librarians, Ms. Ruana, or Ms. Ruana. How can we access online libraries?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So thank you for that question. So we have a lot of free open access resources available online, but I'd like to particularly highlight what we have here in DLSU libraries, no, in American Corner in particular. We have eLibrary USA. And if you're near DLSU, you can message us, no, library@dlsu.edu.ph or manila.americancorner@gmail.com, so we can process your gate pass to research here in American Corner. So inside eLibrary USA, we have lots of different databases, one of which is Bookflix. I don't know if you're familiar with that particular database, but I saw that database in majority of public libraries in Singapore, and talagang tinitake advantage nila yung database na yun dahil sobrang perfect niya, lalo na sa mga early reader. So if you're interested po to check that database, please send me a brief. I'm going to share here in the chat box yung email ng Library and American Corner Manila. We have a lot of databases, but yun po, in relation to our discussion for this afternoon, yun po yung mas appropriate database for our target learner. So thank you so much po.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ruana. So to those of us here who are near or nasa NCR, we could take advantage of the American Corner Library sa TLSU Manila. Kung sa mga provinces naman, pag nagaway po kayo dito sa Metro Manila, you could also take advantage of that. No, kasi sayang din naman po, no? Kung sakali lang naman po magawi.
Jeff,
Yes po, Doc.
so Ruana, they cannot access it they need to go to the libraries, or you can send them the link?
Actually, Doc Sterling, during the pandemic po, no, 2021-22, hinayaan po yung access yung database na yun. But because of license concerns at nagbalikan na po tayo yung
Yeah.
site, hindi na po. But don't worry po, American Corners po are found from Luzon to Mindanao. So please check po ano yung pinaka-nearest
Yeah.
American Corner
Yan.
po sa inyong municipality, town, or city. At willing
Yeah.
po sila, willing po sila na i-share po yung resources na yun because that resources are free. And then just to add in, aside from Bookflix pala, meron din sila mga press reader, yung mga nangangailangan po ng subscription or access po sa newspapers. I know na yung iba po sa atin ay kailangan po yung pwede nyo pong ma-access digital copies ng newspapers. Yun po.
Yan. So thank you very much. Sana po nasagot natin yung tanong ni
Jeff, may
Ma'am
isa na lang
Maria.
sigurong question.
Yes
Si
po, Doc.
Fred, can we use elementary level books? Yes. No, I have two sons, and yung isang boy loves reading. And so when he was small, I kept buying sa book sale, no? And then my other boy, I found out, ayaw niya pala magbasa. So sobrang lungkot ko. But I found out that he loved pala that series, yung Wimpy Kids, kasi may mga pictures siya. At saka yung nakakabasa na pala ako ni Bob Ong. And so, I started buying for him because it doesn't matter what, as long as hindi, kahit graphic novels, wag lang siguro yung mga, may mga sobrang violence and all, but we can use those materials to motivate them to read. Yeah, thank you for
Thank you very much. Doc, actually, meron pa pong 3 questions dito sa Q&A feature. Can we
sure.
answer this po?
Yeah.
Okay. First question of the 3 questions po, Doc. Where do you think shall we start to solve the reading problems schools encounter at present?
It's really it's complicated. No, it's complicated, but my 3 answers are: number 1 is to focus on motivation, engagement, mindset. No, and then second is to start very simple, very simple lang, make it fun. And number 3 is to collaborate. Collaborate. You cannot do it alone. Remember, it takes a village. And so if you are able to ask the help of the local government, the students have service learning projects, as teachers and literacy champions, we need to learn how to network, ask the help. So those are some of the strategies those are simple strategies to start with.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc. Next question po. How can we be so sure that teachers of reading really know how to teach reading to students?
We really cannot tell unless we do research, but as a literacy champion, you can start in your own classroom. No, if you have 40 students, that will make a difference. And then if you have friends and you want to collaborate, then you have 80. And if you have 3 sections, that will be 120. So start from your classroom and share the good news, and then maybe you can expand the project or initiative.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc. Last na po. How do we engage the help of parents so that they can implement these ideas even at home?
You can organize a parent training, so because some of them don't know how to read or don't know how to teach reading. My advocacy is to tell young parents to start reading to their children. Just like that, magbasa lang sila every night, just read to them. Then later on, when they become advocates, because they will raise a generation of children who are interested in words, who are interested in stories. So start with just reading and why reading to the children is important, and where to get free materials.
Thank you very much, Doc. Also, thank you very much to all our attendees and also to those who sent their questions. Thank you very much. Now, before we conclude, we value your input on today's seminar, and your feedback is also essential for us to continue providing valuable content. Please take a moment to share your thoughts on the presentation and the overall seminar experience through the feedback form provided in the chat or the link shared earlier. May we ask our committee to send again the link of the evaluation form? Okay, thank you very much. And while doing so, while you are accomplishing the evaluation form, there you go. We are inviting Mrs. Luis Angelica V. de la Torre, LPT, the head of the General Academic Strand of the Brother Rafael Donato FCS Knight High School at the De La Salle Santiago Sabel, to provide us feedback on what transpired in today's discourse.
Again, good afternoon, dear attendees. So we were all gathered together here to listen and to learn new things from Dr. Sterling Plata's talk about developing 21st century leaders. So if we take a look at the flow of the webinar, we had three major topics that we had. So we had first the changing demands of reading, followed by the different insights shared by Dr. Sterling with different researches that she was able to provide with us. And then strategies, Dr. Plata helped us with different strategies to develop 21st century literacy and readers. So Dr. Plata started sharing the different shifts in reading literacy. This is due to technology and of course led by the changes of time, especially during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. There were different changes or shifts in the literacy and the reading status of our students or even us. Some changes include printed to digital texts, traditional reading to reading literacy, and then from reading comprehension, the usual reading comprehension, to purposeful reading, and then single text to multiple texts, and finally static to multimodal text. So from those shifts, there were different implications for us teachers. The choice of materials that we use for our lessons and for our students to assess and to evaluate what they have learned or what they have experienced in our classroom, different assessment tasks that we give them, and then the purpose of for reading of especially during in our English classes. So I remember in one of our programs here in De La Salle Santiago Isabel in the Knight High School, there was a mention of deer, but then somehow deer has been used too much or too many times. So we tried to motivate. I remember this one. We had booster. Okay, this is a after the pandemic. So we always hear the word vaccine, booster, mga ganyan. So we had a program booster in reading. So this time we have a boxinator, as in box. So with the boxinator, they bring in, we had a collaboration with the library. So we bring set of books inside the classroom for the students to read during their booster time. We provide around 30 minutes. So in there, as mentioned also by Dr. Plata, we were able to collaborate with other people. And that's what was highlighted also by Dr. Plata. We cannot teach reading only in our classroom alone. So we have to collaborate with other people, like what we are doing right now. As teachers, we are collaborating with the libraries, with the different counselors in order to help our students. So again, it takes a village, as quoted from Dr. Sterling's talk earlier. We move on to the last part of our webinar, wherein Dr. Plata shared with us the characteristics on how to develop or characteristics of 21st century readers, quoting from Dr. Plata's talk earlier. Students should be motivated to read, as in how our talk has been going around motivation and engaging in different societal situations and concerned with people, planet, peace, and everything in between. So from there, we will be able to put up scenarios, give them real world text, and then give them out questions so that they are more interested, more motivated to read. Then we also have students that are digital literate, able to manage their attention, time, and well-being because again, reading takes time. Okay, it doesn't just commence in one sitting. Sometimes it takes more than an hour to read, but then when motivation kicks in, when the interest kicks in, it becomes very effective. And then, of course, as we have mentioned, as Dr. Plata has also mentioned about growth mindset. So we have to develop a growth mindset into our students so that they are able to be motivated to develop their self-efficacy and be able to believe in themselves that reading could be their way out of the or development for themselves. So if we try to put it in a nutshell, everything will move around motivation, being or giving fun out to the students, and being able to collaborate in order to develop 21st century readers in these trying times. And as literacy champions, we have to remember that we are champions on our own, and we can develop our students to be champions as well in terms of their literacy progress, in terms of their reading progress. So hopefully we were able to get a lot from this webinar, though we have a very limited time, but the time was very much informative. Everything was very concise for us to understand. Thanks to Dr. Plata's help, and I hope we all have a great afternoon with ahead of us. Thank you very much.
All right, there we go. Again, speaking of future endeavors, before we formally end, we wish to invite you all to attend and engage in our next learning session on November 24 about reading interventions for students with special needs. Earlier, nabanggit po natin yung reading interventions, and surely we've heard of this particular term countless times right after pandemic or during the pandemic. So please attend this very particular discussion because it's going to be very also productive and informative, as we are now going to discuss reading interventions for students with special needs. You may register today. Just connect with us by visiting the official page of the National Book Week on the following social media. You may also scan the QR code here on your screen. And there you have it. Once again, this is Mr. Jeff Joseph M. Alicante, representing Divine Ed Academy Las Piñas, your Master of Ceremonies, reminding all of you that we can still make our students fall in love with reading. Have a nice day, everyone. Happy National Book Week. Be ready to read, reread, relive. Thank you.